As students of Dr. J's Agroecology class, we are proud to present to you our organic garden. But before we dive into the details, let's start with a quick background. What is agroecology? There are several definitions of agroecology, but a good all-around explanation is the science of applying ecological concepts and principles to the design and management of sustainable food systems. So what makes agroecology so important? Well, when chemicals like pesticides and fertilizers were first introduced to farming, the industry only acknowledged the increases of crop yields, decreases in pests, and healthy soil. They failed to understand that industrial agriculture just isn't sustainable. It's reliant on fossil fuels, degrades soil and genetic diversity, causes air pollution, habitat loss, and water depletion, just to mention a few. These agricultural practices focus on intensive tillage, monoculture, irrigation, synthetic fertilizers, chemical weed and pest control, GMOs, and animal factory farms. So how does agroecology fix this? Agroecology focuses on certain principles such as conserving resources, managing ecological relationships, using renewable resources, diversification, minimizing toxic compounds, managing whole systems, and empowering people while valuing their health. Not to mention the ecosystem services it provides, such as erosion control, pollination, and nutrient and water cycling.
So before you see all this beauty, before this there was sun hemp. Sun hemp is used to restore nitrogen and nutrients to the soil. It's a great nitrogen fixer. It also helps with prevent soil erosion, and it helps with water as well. It helps conserve water. So we had sun hemp growing here before, and then once it was time to plant, we cut down the sun hemp, laid it down, and dried up a little, and we mulched it into the soil. So we turned it into the soil so it would decompose there and add further nutrients and structure to the soil as well. So here we planted our cosmic purple carrots. Here are our Yellowstone carrots, and here are the red cord carrots. So these three are our joy choy, and these are our pak choy. Now some of our joy choy seems to be missing, just like the joy in my life. But to whoever stole our joy choy, I will find you and I will end you. Anyways, so for our beets, we have our Early Wonder Tall Top beets right over here. We have our Touchstone Gold beets in the next row over here. We have the Chioggia beets over here, and lastly we have the Red Ace beets in this last row right over here. So this is the progress of our cosmic purple carrots. These carrots are supposed to be bright purple on the outside and orange on the inside. They're supposed to be 6 to 8 inches long. Obviously they're not quite there yet. They're a sweet Danvers type carrot. So these are the Yellowstone carrots, obviously quite smaller than the cosmic purple. They're supposed to be the striking true yellow carrot. They're supposed to be crispy, tender, and sweet, again 9 inches long. The Yellowstone carrot is supposed to have a golden color through and through. They're kind of golden, I guess you could say, but not quite. The roots are supposed to be smooth with a uniform interior color, and they're a perfect addition to any salad or veggie platter. And our last one right here is supposed to be the red cord carrot. Not red on the outside, but the inside will have a red core. It's supposed to be one of the sweetest carrots. The variety was introduced in 1929, and it is a large slump-rooted carrot with a deep red-orange center. So it's great for juicing or fresh eating. It's a good market variety because it's smooth and it's refined in shape. We're gonna leave the beets in because I don't think there's enough of them for us to really pull one out. Unlike the carrots, that there's plenty of them. But just take a moment of appreciation for these beautiful beets. They started off a little rough, but they seem to be bouncing back pretty hard. So yeah, look at that. I got this weird looking knife that Amy gave us to harvest one of our choys. I'm gonna harvest the pak choy because we need a little joy in our life still. So I'm just gonna go ahead and attempt to cut this off. Amy, why? Okay. So here is our very wet choy. Alright, so Amy left before I could go inside here, and she locked it, and I don't know the code, and neither does Abid. So we're just gonna break a couple rules here. I mean, I didn't wear this hat for nothing. So we're just gonna jump the fence. Oh my god. Alright, so we're going to take a look of how all of our plants got started. So if we walk over here, these are right here are the little tiny greenhouses that our seed starters were put in, just because it eliminates the excess water from the rain. Me and Grace actually took out the sides here in garden club because it was getting a little bit too hot for the plants. So it gives some room for some temperature, adjustment. So it doesn't get too hot and it doesn't get too wet. So this is basically how we started all of our plants, except for the carrots. We direct seeded the carrots because they don't really start in seed starters like this, but we did do our beets and our choys. So joy choy, pak choy, and our 4 beets. We started off in these seed starters. So I'm gonna try to find some choys around here. I'm not really sure. So this is basically what our choys started out with. These are pak choys. So they started out as just little tiny plants like this, and now they're giant monsters. So this is the water pump for the organic garden, the bane of Amy's existence this semester. It decides whether it wants to work or not. It has emotions and a mind of its own, but basically to water the crops we came here, and if it was working we got to fill up the watering cans here and walk it all the way to our plot and water the plants. So here is the compost. I wouldn't say a compost bin, but the compost piles. The fresh fruits and vegetables and compost goes in this first bin, and then it's turned into the next one, and finally it finishes in the last one. So where we got all of our compost from for our bed is from that last section over there. So as you can see, you get some good nutrition from like these old choys, carrots, watermelon, peppers, pineapples. They come from FIU fresh food, I think it is. If you look at the one of our pak choy leaves right here, it'll show one of the problems that we were having at the very beginning with, I think it was either whiteflies or something else. But we ended up treating some our plants with neem oil pesticide. So we mixed some neem oil with some water, and we sprayed the tops and bottoms of our leaves to try to reduce the pests that were eating away at our plants. You see these little trails here and the discoloration of the leaf over here. So it turns out that it worked out, so that was a good organic pesticide to use. In the beginning we also had a whole bunch of ants in these couple cinder blocks right here. We also sprayed some neem oil on them, and they're pretty much gone. They're completely gone actually. So we treated our choys and our beets with neem oil for those pests. The carrots seem to be fine this whole time, so thumbs up for that.
Rain attire, including my rain boots, and I am ready to check on our little plant babies that have been beaten up by wind and rain for the past 2 days or so.
Concepts that can relate to what we learned in class to our experiential learning experience at the garden are using heirloom varieties and intercropping, as well as organic pest management, how we use neem oil in our garden.
So basically what I learned from this course is that sustainable agriculture takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it. The work you put in is what you get out of it, and doing things organically it just makes things so much better. You don't have the chemicals to worry about, you don't have any of the pesticides to worry about, and you get to farm and garden with people that you know and love. You make new friends, and it really helps build a community when you grow locally and you help other people harvest, and you do small farming, sustainable farming.